Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. Today, I wanted to talk about a horror film, a Spanish Giallo, actually, called Trauma. This comes from the Forgotten Gialli set from Vinegar Syndrome, Volume 1, and it's directed by Leon Klimovsky, I believe is the correct pronunciation. I hope. So, this was actually the director's last film. He had been known for directing several low budget horror titles, and Trauma definitely fits that bill. So, was his last film a good one? I would say yes. Now, I saw some mixed reviews on this film, Trauma, but I really liked this film quite a bit. Now, it does have a few things about it that are somewhat problematic. It's not perfect. It's kind of a combination giallo and slasher. I would say it's kind of a mix of both because there's definitely some sex and gore in this movie. But that kind of works to the film's advantage for the most part. So, the basic plot of this film is that a writer, I believe his name is Daniel, basically wants to get away from it all. Pretty normal plot for this type of film because he's writing a new book, and you find out pretty early in the film he's having some relationship issues back home. So he meets this woman who runs this place. It's kind of like a house/hotel. I guess she rents out rooms. At least that's how I interpreted it. And they hit it off right away. The issue is that this woman also has a relationship going on with her husband, who's paralyzed and pretty much stays in one room. And there's a lot of twists and turns to that, and I won't give anything away. So there are some other characters in this film, but this is definitely a film where two main characters are really the central focus of the film. It's one of those films that takes place mostly in one location. There's a few outdoor shots, but most of the film takes place in this house. And sometimes this works for a film, sometimes it doesn't. I thought it worked here. There are some other characters who come in and out of the film, but they don't really have that much bearing on the plot other than one, which, again, I won't get into too much because it could be a potential spoiler. So basically, this is a film where it's definitely a murder mystery. It's definitely got slasher elements, but the mystery whodunit part of it is where the giallo influence comes from. And I did think that this one was pretty easy to figure out. About halfway through the film, I pretty much had all the twists and turns figured out. But that didn't kill this film for me, as I thought the way this story was told was quite unique, and it was still interesting getting to the destination, even if it was a bit predictable. Now, there's definitely some kills and some gore in this film, and I would say they're done pretty well. Again, I read some things where people didn't think the kills and the gore were very convincing. I thought for a low-budget horror film from 1978, they were fine and then they worked. There's definitely, like I said, some sexual material in this film as well, but I don't think it goes over the top like some films from this time period did. It was definitely interesting to see a Spanish giallo, as I haven't seen too many of these before. I'm definitely more familiar with the Italian ones. The acting is solid for a film like this. The two leads are good. The other side characters, the acting is so-so, but it's acceptable and adequate. Now, a negative to this film for some could be it's definitely a slower paced film. It's only like 87 minutes long, but it definitely takes a while to get going. And this is where I say the kills work to the film's advantage because they kind of break up some of what would be the monotony. The slow pace worked for me, but others may find the film to drag a little bit in spots, especially the first half of the film. I would say then things kind of pick up from there as you find out more and more of what's happening. But like I said, the lead acting is good. I think the direction's pretty solid overall. It's interesting the director retired after this film, as I thought he did a good job. Now, I will say the ending of this film, I kind of had it figured out. The execution of it, I actually didn't love at first, but when I thought about it more, this film has an audio commentary, and I generally don't listen to a lot of audio commentaries because I personally like to hear all the dialogue and everything in the film. But sometimes I will go back if I watch the film a second time and listen to it. In this case, I went back and rewatched the end of the film with the commentary to see if the commentary agreed with how I interpreted the ending, which it did. So I guess I understood the film, so that's a good thing. But when I thought about it more, the ending is acceptable. Is it perfect? No. Is it great? No. It might be a letdown to some. I saw a couple other reviews that didn't love the ending, but I was happy with it overall. Could they have done a little better? Sure, but I didn't think it ruined the experience of the film at all. So if you like these kind of films, giallos, and especially if you haven't seen a lot of Spanish ones, I definitely recommend this film. I think it is worth watching. So that'll do it for my review of Trauma. Definitely more reviews coming out soon. Thanks for watching.